Hey,
What's
there he
up?
is. How you doing?
Good.
Good, man. I hope we don't have any technical difficulties today.
Yeah. Can you hear
The
me all
la
right? Need me to put
Yeah, I
some
got.
AirPods? Got me?
Yeah, no, I got you good. It's perfect. You hear me? Everything good?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Matt, for joining us. For those of you who don't know, this is Matt Olson, first baseman for the Oakland Athletics. I got to read through some of these stats, man. Doing a little bit of research back on you. Obviously, played at Parkview High School here under Chan Brown. The career numbers, I think, out of all the numbers I've read and looked at for you, these are incredible. 431, 44 doubles, 45 home runs, 168 RBIs in 4 seasons. Uh, I feel like to put that in perspective, I think high school seasons were what 35 games, so 140 games. You did that. That's
Yeah.
insane, man. How
Yeah.
good? How
Taking
good
me
was
back.
it? Yeah, how good were those teams that you played on?
Man, they were awesome, and I was lucky enough to get a chance as a freshman too, so
Right.
was able to start getting some stats going then. But we won two state championships, both
Yeah.
my junior and senior year, and we just had a really solid team.
Yeah, that's incredible. Chan Brown put together a pretty good program up there at Parkview.
Yeah, he does. He runs a tight ship, and you get to work there for sure.
Absolutely. Now, your sophomore year was it? Your 16U summer ended up playing for Team USA. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
How was how was that?
It was cool. Experience I never really been around before. Went to Houston and did the tryouts. Bunch of guys in my grade. That draft class were down there. A bunch of big names, and I didn't really know what to expect. Ended up making the team. I actually went down there only to pitch and ended up not pitching an inning and playing first base the whole time.
Wow.
But we went to Mexico and super cool experience being able to wear USA stuff and
Yeah.
kind of wear the country's colors, and we ended up winning the tournament. It was awesome.
Of that experience, what was kind of that one thing that sticks out in your mind?
So we were in Mexico, played Mexico for the final game, and I had never really played in front of big crowds at that point. Was 16
Right.
years old, and I don't know the exact number, but it had to be 10, 15,000 people there, and they were all cheering against
Wow.
us, obviously, with Mexico. So
Right.
it was cool. It's nice to kind of feed off that energy, and that was my first taste of having a big stadium, a bunch of fans.
Right. And you guys ended up winning the gold, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's so cool, especially for the country. That's a
Yeah,
really cool honor
it
to
was
be a
awesome.
part of. Well, as you went through, you had an incredible career at Parkview. You got committed to Vanderbilt, and then obviously got drafted 47th overall in 2012. Talk to me a little bit about kind of that decision. Obviously, either route you would have gone can be incredible, but you decided to start your pro career. What was that decision like?
Man, it was tough. Being 18 years old, just coming out of high school, and pretty much got to make a decision that changes the course of your life in a way.
Right.
I have my family there to help me out. My family's a big education family. My parents are both big on it. My brother went to Harvard. My older brother went to Harvard and was playing there, so it was important. But at the end of the day, it was like one of those things where um, obviously the money was good, but you only get the chance to do this once, and being a position player going and getting at bats in the minors was a big thing for me. So signed up and didn't look back.
Yeah. Now, were you a part of the live event up in what is it, New York? I think for the MLB for the
Which
draft.
Oh, no, 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 nope. It was
Yeah.
just I was at home. It was actually me, Chan, my
Yeah.
parents. We were just sitting on the couch. I actually
Right.
didn't even know when I was getting drafted. Heard it for the
Yeah.
first time on TV, and thought I was going to
Yeah.
get the call before. And
Right.
hey, they're going to pick you in a couple picks. But we found out live, and I went on
Wow.
another day.
That's awesome, man. That's a really cool deal, actually,
Yeah,
being able to see it on TV and wait, that's my name, and they just
yeah.
called it.
we
Uh,
we kind of all double takes, and we're like, oh, really?
Yeah. Well, then you go on to pro ball, and just kind of looking at the career, it's actually pretty amazing. Kind of the coming out of high school, hitting every level on the way up, right? So you go out in 2012 rookie ball, then you go low A 2013, high A 2014, 2015 is double A, 2016 triple A, and then you get to your September call up. I'm imagining is what happened there.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me about that journey through the minor leagues. I mean, you have stories for every level, which is amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Not everybody gets to do the 1 year at a place and move on to the next one, and it was good. I think it was good for my development. I definitely needed to continue to work on some things, and things needed to be addressed. But it doesn't seem fun at the time riding around buses for 8-10 hours a day and going and playing in random cities. But looking back on it now, it kind of molds the whole experience, and when you make it up to the big leagues, it makes it that much better.
Yeah, especially coming out of high school too, and all of a sudden playing 140 games, a year. It's got to be a shock, even with travel baseball and things that are happening. That you still don't crest that, nor I think do you crest the work it takes and the effort. We've been talking with Will Benson on Tuesday, and he was kind of talking about the long days, showing up to the park at noon, getting your early work in, and then practice, and then BP, and then game, and then it's a full day, 142 days a year.
Yeah, it's not all fun and games. It's I understand that everybody shows up for the game, and you kind of just expect that's when the players are there, but it's a full commitment, and we get in the minors it's even worse, but up with us, we get 4 or 5 maybe days off a month, and uh, Will's right. You show up to the field at noon, and you don't leave till probably 11 o'clock if you got a night game,
Right.
and there's a lot of work that goes into it, and a full season's worth.
What was your favorite minor league park you played in?
Mm. I loved Nashville. So our
Yeah.
AAA team was in Nashville, and it was a brand new stadium.
Right.
Uh, we had a ton of fans out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Great city too.
awesome city. Yeah, a ton of stuff to do, and people who cared, and a lot of these minor league places. It's kind of just a money maker for some people, but in
Right.
Nashville, there's actually some good fans, and it was
Yeah.
fun.
Awesome. Yeah. So to get into kind of your major league career, young major league career at this point, kind of going over, looking at some of these numbers. So 2017, which would be your first full year, rookie year, you end up fourth in the rookie of the year voting. The guy that won that year was Aaron Judge. He's fairly decent. Then in 2018, you end up with a Gold Glove, and then you follow that up in 2019 with a Gold Glove, and 21st on the MVP voting. And the interesting part I found about 2019 was you and I have something in common. You broke your hamate bone in the second game of that season,
Yeah.
and you ended up having 36 home runs and 91 runs batted in that season. That's amazing. Tell us a little bit about when you do have an injury, kind of the mindset that you kind of go through right there. I know it's tough. You sit in the training room, you want to be out there and going. How did that affect that year? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was real tough. I had never really had a big injury during the year. I hurt my hamstring in 2017, but it was like I missed the last 4 or 5 games of the season, had all off season to rehab. Other than that, I've never really, high school included, never really missed time for anything. So it was a big change for me. Like you said, just sitting there watching everybody play. It
Right.
actually happened in Japan. We flew over to Japan and did our opening series over there, and that's when I broke my hand. So had to fly all the way back to the States with a broken hand, get surgery, and it was tough because you work all off season to come out and you want to make this good start to start the year.
Right.
But
Right.
I was obviously sidelined because of it.
Right.
You know, it, I can't really explain how I got through it. It was tough. Being someone who's in the lineup every day, and I'd never really been hurt. I had a lot of free time, a lot of time in the dugout with everyone, but my teammates kept me sane and just
Right.
got in the training room, did the work I had to do, and tried to get back out there as quick as possible.
Yeah, it is hard too with the injuries because, like you said, you work the whole off season, get your body in shape, ready to go, ready to be part of a big league season, and all of a sudden you can't really do anything. I mean, you can run, you can do all that stuff, but you can't lift and keep that strength that you need, especially being a power hitter and that bottom hand, being able to whip the bat head through the zone and things like that. I think that's kind of the amazing part, knowing the injury that it was 30 some odd days that you were out, and the next thing you know, you're going out there and hitting 36 home runs. That's a pretty amazing feat, actually, for those who know the hamate bone.
Yeah, it was crazy. When I came back from it, I don't know what it was. I like to be really loose with my hands, so I don't know if that was part of it. But when I came back and could get through the pain swinging, I didn't really feel like I lost that much of the power, which
Right.
is obviously what you hear a lot about handmade injuries. I don't know if that's accredited to the training room stuff that I was doing or weight room stuff that I was able to do or what, but I was pleasantly surprised and was able to go out and still have the power numbers.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. The other thing for me too is the defensive work for you. Obviously, 2 of your first 3 years, you're a Gold Glove winner. You probably don't go in the league. Go, man, I'm gonna head for that. And then you get 2 or 3. Have you always been a plus defender? Growing up and always played first base, or is this something that you've worked on? Through the 5 years in the minor leagues, and it's something that you take pride in.
So I grew up more of a third baseman actually, and I think that's why it was easy for me to go over to first and be a better defender over there because uh, third base is just it's more difficult than first base. I don't want to
Right.
trash my own position here, but you don't have to make the throw across the diamond. You can just pick it up and flip it. But it taught me to be on my toes, and um, it's a lot of similarities. I've always been pretty decent with hand-eye stuff, but you're definitely going to have to work. When I moved over to first base, there's things like picks and footwork around the bag and things like that I wasn't accustomed to. So that was a little bit of a transition, but once I got it down, I've always been a guy who likes to work one-handed on defense.
Right.
So going over to first base was perfect for me with the
Right.
pick and able to just work freely.
Right. Yeah, bigger glove too over there as well, which with the one hand stuff, that's nice.
Yeah, for sure.
So some of the footwork stuff and things you work on in the off seasons, and really kind of how much do you work on your defensive stuff in the off season? Because with our athletes, young athletes at ninth inning, it's we don't see them as much for defensive work unless they're in the team setting. I was always one to pride myself on defense as well, and so to me, looking at you, what do you do footwork wise, drill wise, rep wise, things like that? Maybe on a daily basis or weekly basis.
So the most important things that I do, like I said, I like to work one-handed, so I'm always kind of playing balls into short hops. I'm going out and taking my regular fungos, but moving my feet to where it's going to be a short hop or a long hop to where I can work freely and I don't have to, have that extra hand there as kind of a little, brace. Um,
Right.
for me, the most important is reading the ground ball, always keeping the feet moving, and being able to work with that one hand.
Right.
It is things that you have to work on. One of my favorite drills is taking 10 balls and saying, I'm going to make every single one of these a short hop.
Right.
And then taking the next 10 and saying, I'm making every single one of these a long hop. And
Yeah.
what that does is you can't, the ball is going to be what the ball is, and you have to adjust your body. Sometimes you might have to run back 10 feet to make it a long hop.
Right.
It creates better habits for me to where I know to always keep moving and find that better hop so you're not getting eaten up.
Right. Yeah, no, it's if I had to give, or if you had to give, excuse me, like a drill, something that if they can do on their own, right? And most infielders want to learn how to pick and do. Is there a drill that you like to do if you don't have somebody hit you a fungo and things like that?
Yeah, so we used to do this with Ron Washington a lot when he was with us with the A's. I'm sure people have seen stuff with him with Atlanta now. I think he
Right.
does it with Albies and Dansby now.
Right.
But he used to put us on our knees and, he would just throw us little short hops and, just kind of worked on different positions. You want to go forehand, straight and backhand, just
Hmm.
working through the ball. And, if you don't have someone throwing you the ball, you could just get up against the wall and do it
Right.
and get yourself in that same spot. And I love working through it. I think
Right.
attacking, especially for first base, is the best. So drills like that where we have the drill that I just said where you're moving your lower half,
Right.
and then it's the exact opposite where you eliminate the lower half, knees on the ground, and you're
Right.
just working hands. And when you put those two together, you got a real good window of success.
Yeah, no, that's a great drill. With the thought process on working through the ball, a lot of kids and a lot of guys growing up, they're trying to put their fingers on the ground, their fingers on the ground instead of kind of fingers down. And I always, try and say maybe you're similar to this is when your fingers are pointed to the ground, it gives you more surface area to catch the ball and be able to throw kind of the heel of your glove hand at the baseball to get that short hop to trap it in there. Is that how you work through balls, or do you have a different, mechanic or way that you do that?
I'm the same way. When you're talking right at you or forehand, I'm the same way as you say. When I'm doing backhands, I like to think about whatever spot my glove is in. I'll try to pick my hand up. I think of just barriers on either side, so I'm working straight through it as
Right.
opposed to coming off the side. It's going to close your glove or whatever. Lifting up is never good. So I want to get that webbing coming through in like a
Breaking through.
doorway,
Yeah.
and that's you're not always going to get the hop that you think, and that
Sure.
just gives you a better chance to go through with it. Also, just not being timid with it.
Right.
Um, you gotta be aggressive, and if you ever unsure about it, I've found out that just going and getting it is better. If you think
Right. Attacking it.
I might be in a in between hop right here. Just try to go through it because when you get caught up and get handcuffed, it's normally not good.
Right. Yeah. No, that's great advice. I mean, it's. I hope that all the people are watching. I mean, that's unbelievable advice, especially when you're getting it from guys like Ron Washington and stuff like that. I mean, baseball is kind of you learn from the top down, and you start just picking up different stuff from different people, putting it all together so it works best for you. So, great information there. What's your approach to hitting? I know you like to have your hands out, away from your body to start. When did that start for you? How did it, and what's your approach to hitting? There's so many different approaches, right?
Yeah, I started doing the hands in 2017. Uh, when I got called up in the end of 2016, our hitting coach Darren Bush, who's still there, pulled me aside and pretty much said that things were going to get exposed at this level with where my
Right.
swing was at. So
Right.
being a young guy and getting called up for the first time, I'm obviously going to do whatever I need to get that out of there.
Right.
And through some trial and error, it just kind of stuck my hands out because my trouble was I was getting closed off to where my hands didn't have a free path to the ball.
Right.
So I was just actually in the cage like messing around one day on the machine and just put my hands out and like almost started playing pepper. It's like,
Right.
man, that feels free. And obviously it's transformed to where I'm at now to where it's a big part of my timing and my load and everything. But my approach at the plate is I'm up there trying to swing at strikes first of all.
Right.
You have to come in with obviously it doesn't apply as much to the youth, but for me, you got to come in with a total idea of the guy you're facing and what he likes
Right.
to do, and how you plan on attacking him. But once you get done with that, that's done all before the game. You should know what you're doing, and then you get in the box, and I'm looking for something to drive.
Right. Now, there's, watching the facility and doing stuff, you've got some drills and things that you do, kind of every day. What are those, and what do they do just to specifically help you?
For me, my bad tendency is to drop my barrel back here, and I get real long, swing up basically, and I just get caught. I end up fouling off a lot of pitches, can't catch up to the high fastball, inside fastball. So for me, all my work is really, shortening that. So I got a T routine that I do, when it's feeling really bad or something that I just want to stay on top of, where I put the ball really close to me and really high up to where I have to just drop like that and hit the ball down, and I slowly progress out, pretty much teaching myself to not do this and
Right.
better, coming in this way to the ball.
Right.
That's my big thing. The balance of the lower half is obvious. Everything starts with the ground. In my
Right.
opinion, that's where the power comes from. If you're not in a athletic position when you land, you don't really have much of a chance, in my opinion.
Right.
And I really my cage work and my BP work isn't that impressive at all. I know what works for me.
Right.
I need to keep the ball low in batting practice and in the cage to have success in the game, because
Right.
after the game you get a little more amped up, and I think it's important to figure out what you need. There's guys
Good advice.
that I play with who try to hit a cage bomb every time, and that's what gets them right for the game. And
Right.
I'm the exact opposite. If I did that, I'd probably punch out 4 times a game. So
Right.
you got to figure out what works for you, and apply the things in the cage to do that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just speaking on kind of the angle of approach and things like that too. What is your thoughts on like launch angle and everything else? And I only say this because a lot of younger athletes, younger hitters, they're very impressionable. How do I hit? And a lot of what I hear is, oh, I got to get this launch angle and I got to get this. And I'm like, I don't understand what you want to try and accomplish. What are your thoughts on that whole launch angle idea? Being a big power hitter that you are.
I'm not huge on it. I think the launch angle is a result of what you do right in your swing. Especially for me, being a guy who, like I said, my tendency is to lose my barrel back there. I can't think launch angle because same thing. I'll start fouling stuff off. I think if you're in a good position and you're thinking, maybe a little bit of a high line drive, if you connect right, it's going to get up. It's going to elevate. To go in and only think elevate, I just feel like it puts you in a worse position as far as being able to adjust to other pitches.
Right.
But, like I said, it's going to differ for everybody, but I do think that it's kind of gone a little extreme.
Right.
I think the launch angle was more of a correction for, the little bit older age group than me, of people saying swing down on the ball. So,
Right.
It was a little balancing act, but, I don't know if from the start, if you're told launch angle, if it's going to result in success.
Yeah, I agree with you on it's the result of how you get to the baseball, right? I mean, if you hit it a little bit lower on the ball's going to go higher. If you hit it on top, it's going to be a negative launch angle. That being said, taking the right hand to the baseball, right, getting from point A to point B, and I'm getting a little technical, but it's always the question, right? Like you said, coaches will always talk about, or some coaches will talk, hey, swing down to the ball, swing down to the ball. The objective, I would imagine, as a hitter, and especially a big league hitter, is to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, especially when you're facing 95 to 103 almost every day. You don't have that time, like you said, kind of where your back gets lost behind you. Is that when you're doing that one drill, you're trying to take your right hand to the ball, or your left hand, I should say, to
Yeah.
the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think honestly swing down on the ball.
Hmm.
And when you look at my swing, if you look at side video, it doesn't look like that at all.
Right.
Um, and that's what that drill does for me. I think, like I said, it's going to be personalized in what you need to do, but the best success is when you have a path that ends up flattening out. So
Hmm.
you have, you're not always going to be perfectly on time. It's just
Right.
not going to happen. So
Right.
if you have a bigger area out here in the contact zone where your bat is perfectly working through it, then that's going to be your best chance to succeed. So
Right.
whatever you need to tell yourself to get there. I know, um, I don't have a ton of drill ideas because I know what
Yeah.
works for me.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But for me, that drill gets me in a spot where I'm coming in right here, and then once I'm here, it's all through the ball, and that's where I
Right.
like to.
Right. You said something earlier that I think should resonate, which is, every player is very different, right? Every guy's got different approach to what they're doing. Some guys do like to hit the cage bombs. We've seen those guys.
Mhm.
That's the hardest thing, I think, trying to give young athletes, young hitters. They're always trying to emulate somebody else, or they're listening to just one person instead of trying to figure out what makes them successful on the field. Hitting, and I'll kind of merge this into data, in the analytical part of this game. Everybody's trying to push towards data so much instead of the result. And, what's your thoughts on data, and how do you use that in your swing, and whether it's fixing your swing or getting better or trying to do something different?
For the most part, I check exit velocity because in my opinion, if I hit it hard, I did something right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I really don't get too far into all of the analytics. Not a big angle guy, uh, not a huge blast motion guy.
Right.
I know that's big nowadays, and
Right.
I just there's so many different things that can change the output. How you're seeing the guy, how your swing feels that day. I've just turned more into a feel guy,
Right.
and I know in a day and age where it's becoming so easy to get your hands on numbers and things like that.
Right.
While they're definitely good tools, good checking points. Say, hey, I did this well. Let me go see what the numbers were on that. Let me try to
Right.
get to. Let me try to continue to do that number, whatever it may be. Um, I think sometimes you can overanalyze things.
Right. And, overanalyzing and things, and we always get this question too, and I think I try and ask it to every guy that's in pro ball, and every coach that's out there, whether it's college, whatever, but what is like the mental approach, with successes and failures and things like that? What is your mental approach every day that you go out there, offensively and defensively, through all the ups and downs? Obviously, it's a failure sport. We know that. So how do you deal with that, as you go through slumps and successes and things like that?
Yeah, it's a crazy game. You know, 3 out of 10 hits will get you in the Hall of Fame. So um, perseverance is big. You can't get down. I've had some of the lowest lows and some of the highest highs. So
Right.
um, at some point at the end of the year, it's going to even out. You just got to continue the same work. When you're in a slump, it sucks. You feel like you can't get out of it.
Right.
Uh, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and just got to keep telling yourself that. Do the work that you think you need to do to get out of it. And if you're totally prepared before the game, all week leading up to the game, if it's a travel ball guy, and you go out there and you don't perform, then you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I did all I needed to do, just didn't have the results that day.
Right.
I'll go get them the next one. But
Right.
if you don't put that work in and you don't go out there and perform, I can't deal with those what ifs. What if I
Sure.
didn't skip BP this day or whatever it may be. I'm more in the mindset of, if you do it, if you do the proper preparation, what's going to happen is going to happen. If it's not
Right.
the best result, so what? If it's great, go do it again.
Right. No, that's good advice for sure. I mean, I know that the middle part of the game for I think everybody, big league guys all the way down to kids in little league, is a tough thing, especially in our sport.
Yeah.
Um, so what is a typical day like for you during the season? Wake up, workout, lunch. What is it? What do you do?
So I'll normally wake up, um, get a little breakfast in me, go to the field about noon. I'm
Mhm.
talking like a 7 o'clock game here.
Right.
Go in there noon, get some lunch, um, you know, maybe hang out for a little bit, 30, 45 minutes,
Hmm.
play some cards if I, got the time.
Little
But
spades.
yeah, yeah. And then, once the day gets going, it starts, go to the weight room, normally do some sort of bike, get on the treadmill, go outside, run a little bit, get the body moving, um, do the proper corrective stuff, foam rolling, all that stuff to
Right.
get loose for the day. We work out about 3 or 4 days a week during the season. So if I have a lift that day, I'll go in and lift.
Do you
After
lift
that,
early, like early AM, or are you lifting midday?
it'll be like 1:30, two
Oh wow.
o'clock about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll do the lift and go straight up to the cage from there, do my pregame, or not pregame, just my routine,
Right.
which is normally about, maybe a round of tea if I need it, if I need to do that thing we talked about,
Right. Right.
if I need to correct some stuff back there, and
Yeah.
then go in and do 4 or 5 rounds of front toss. And from that point, if there's early work on the field with the machine, we'll go out there and do that sometimes. If not, you got a little downtime before BP.
Right.
And BP is normally about 4 o'clock. Go
Yeah.
out there, do your BP, take your grounders, come back in, take a little shower, and by then you got some time to grab some food and chill out for a sec, and then it's game time.
That's awesome. So, so baseball aside, so what do you do kind of off season then? When you have some downtime away from baseball, what is it that you love to do? Hunting, golf. What is it? What does Matt Olson like to do?
Yeah, we got a group of us who like to get out on the golf course. We've been going out to Sugarloaf a lot, and
Right.
it's if baseball isn't frustrating enough, we come back in our free time play a more frustrating sport. So,
That's it.
I like to cook. Kind of a hobby that I picked up. My dad.
So you're a chef.
Yeah, Chef Olson over here.
Yeah. All right, then I got to
No,
ask you the question though. What's your favorite dish to cook then? Because what's your favorite dish?
I don't know. I'll mix it around. I like to make fajita stuff, but
All right.
right now I'm on a big make a good like ribeye or fillet in a cast
Yeah.
iron pan and
Right.
stick it in the oven for a little bit.
Okay. Are you a green egg guy? Do you like green egg stuff and smoking
No,
stuff?
no,
No?
I do. I've never used one, but
Yeah.
I hear they're awesome. I am a grill guy, but I'm in a condo and
Right. Okay.
don't
Fair
really
enough.
have a good grill here. So I've
Right.
learned other ways for the steak.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Well, that kind of pulls us into our fuego round, right? Which I teed you up with some questions earlier, but you didn't get these ones because they're the fuego round. We
Right.
call it the Aroldis Chapman fuego round just because he throws 180.
Yeah.
But they're just kind of some
Looks
fun
like
questions.
190.
Yeah, right. Because he's like 6'9" or 6'8". It's
Yeah.
on you. No, it's
Yeah.
crazy. So anyway, some fun questions right here. Just kind of quick move. There's about 10 questions, 8 questions, something like that. We'll get it started. All right. Favorite ballpark?
Toronto.
Toronto. Toronto, really?
Yeah.
No kidding. All right. Favorite food? So this is perfect right down the alley here.
Yeah, Mexican food.
Mexican food.
Yeah.
What Mexican, like a burrito?
I'm gonna go fajitas.
Fajitas. Well, I should have
Yeah.
guessed that. You said
Yep.
fajitas earlier. Best hitter in the league, in your opinion,
Mike
besides
Trout.
yourself? Mike Trout. Okay.
Yeah.
Best player, probably, too.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. That's pretty easy one.
Right. All right. So this could go two ways right here. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke,
Gatorade or Powerade?
Powerade.
All right. Any superstitions?
It depends on how I'm doing at the plate.
Right.
I am superstitious. There's not one thing that I got every time, but
Yeah.
if I'm struggling, I'm mixing it up.
Changing everything.
Absolutely.
Burning the clothes, new
Yeah.
socks, the whole deal.
Whole
Okay.
nine.
What's the craziest superstition? The thing that you've done for the longest amount of time, superstition wise?
In high school, there was a pet rock that someone had called Alfred, and he rubbed it on my bat one time. I think I did well that game. So for the next 2 years in high school, I started
Wow.
rubbing that rock all over my bat, and I actually lost that thing. Rooming
Oh
with
no.
rooming with Okie, who hits with us
Right.
at the Team USA deal.
Yeah.
So
How about that? Man, he lost your rock. That's
no,
not good,
no, it
man.
was me. I think we put it up above the mirror and we were praying to it to make the team, and I think I left it there.
That's classic. That's like 7 years of bad luck for Okie. I mean, it's just that's not good.
Yeah, maybe I'll give him some bad luck.
Oh, that's funny. PS4 or Xbox if you're a gamer. Are you a gamer?
Yes, yep, PS4.
All right. So then I'll go down the little rabbit hole of Fortnite or Call of Duty.
I'm a Fortnite guy.
Okay. All
I
right.
couldn't get going on the Call of Duty.
No. Yeah. All right.
I hear it's better though.
It's pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. I dabble with the staff every once in a while. So,
Yeah,
but
I just didn't
I'm
have
not
to
real
learn
good.
the new game. It was lazy.
Yeah.
Me.
Right. I get it. Favorite band. I don't know what type of music list is. So favorite band.
Favorite band. Man, I don't know. I'm kind of. I probably listen to more rap. But I like if it's a hanging out, just maybe hanging out on the beach. I like Zach Brown band.
Okay. Well, that's a
Yeah,
good choice.
yeah.
So if you got to do it, then I'm going to go Travis Scott or Migos if you're a rap guy.
Ooh, gotta go with the Atlanta guys, right? Migos.
Yeah. All right. I like it. No, it's not
Yeah.
bad. All right. This one's a good one. This one comes from Justin Edwards, just so everybody understands. Kent Murphy or Domingo Ayala?
I was a Kent Murphy guy growing up.
Yeah.
Was he first? I think he was first.
Yeah. Well, he was definitely first. I do believe.
Yeah,
I don't know. I probably have to check the tape on that, but no, I
yeah.
think he's
It
first.
was. I remember watching this stuff. His right field, talking about the right fielder skit is pretty good.
Yeah. He's not a big fan of bunting either. So
Yeah.
it's good stuff. Well, good, man. That's it. Very easy. We really appreciate your time, Matt. Thanks for taking the time to be with me today and kind of going through this. I hope that everybody who's watching this gets lots of nuggets of information. And again, good luck on your career. Good luck on this season. And we'll have to get together and play some golf.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. You got it. Thanks, Matt.
Yep. Take care.
Be good.